So 2 years ago, 2 years and 1 month ago, I wandered into the Albuquerque Heart Hospital emergency room at around 2 o'clock in the morning, weighing in at 98 pounds with my boots and leather jacket on, with my arm completely covered in writing I cut into it that I couldn't read. It was apparently some important message I'd given to myself, and strange abdominal pain, also tripping balls on acid. About 3 hours later, I wandered out of there with an IV picks on my arm and a plan. Wasn't a very good one. Maybe I should begin a little earlier than this. So roughly 10 or 12 years ago, I started getting really bad migraines. I've had a bunch of concussions, traumatic brain injuries, that type of thing. Never really learned how to duck or shut the fuck up, so I've been hitting the head a lot with different things, hammers, that guy. Um, and the migraine started about 12 years ago. I've seen tons of experts, tons of specialists, tons of everything, and the closest they can figure is that I have CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It's also known as post-concussive syndrome, which has most of the symptoms of Alzheimer's and pain. This protein grows inside my skull that crushes my brain. Eventually, it'll crush it enough that it'll die. It's a terminal illness, but it's a long, slow one. Most people just kill themselves long before. Like, they don't really know how long it takes to kill you because everybody ends up killing themselves. That one cat football player who smashed his head open on the jail cell wall, that he had that. Yeah, that's why he did that. Um, well, that day that I wandered into the hospital, I dropped acid. Take a look at my life and see if it was objectively as bad as I thought it was. And then dropped the acid, looked at my life objectively, and saw it was a lot worse than I thought it was. I mean, I didn't really realize that I was that thin at that point. And I have anorexia, but it had gotten completely out of control, and that was the thinnest I've ever been since I was, like 12. But went in the hospital, and I mean, they don't really have an emergency room. The heart hospital doesn't exactly have an emergency room. They have emergency sign, and in total emergencies you can go in there, and since I was tripping, I wandered in there. Seemed like the right place to go. So they were open, but there was a few doctors on hand. There's one doctor that I got to talk to for a few hours about my condition, and I was brutally honest with them when I walked in. They said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I'm on fentanyl, meth, heroin, half a bottle of whiskey at least, and acid. Probably some benzos in there someplace." And she said my honesty was refreshing. So we got to talking about a lot of things. We got to talking about the problems with the CTE, because you can't really diagnose it. There's no treatment for it. There's no cure for it. There's nothing. Nobody's even working on it. The Army and the fucking NFL have spent years trying to deny that it even exists, but it's real. But there's no treatment for it. And thanks to the lovely opiate epidemic, they're no longer giving opiates to anybody. So I've been having to self-medicate for the pain for a long time. I mean, it's agonizing. I've been at a 10 for years now, constantly. It doesn't go away. Can't sleep. Can't really focus on anything. And it just keeps getting worse. So the 10 just keeps changing in elevation, escalation. But I was in the hospital. I got talking to her about the fact that there's no treatment, no anything. And so when I left there, and I think they were trying to stall me. That's why I was getting to talk to the doctor for so long, was because they were trying to get some type of court order or something to lock me up. They were trying to get a judicial order to put me in for observation, because I was the poster child for self-harm at that moment in my life. So I texted a friend of mine who dropped me off there and said, "Hey, can you meet me out front in 15 minutes?" And she texted me back and asked me if I could go use the bathroom real quick. And they said yes. And I'm totally honest with them. I was like, "I'll be right back." And that was the first lie I told them. And I dipped out, got in the car, and went home. With the IV still on my arm, which is convenient for lots of things. And on the way home, they called me up to tell me that they had notified the police that I'd absconded from medical care and that I left with the IV in my arm. And so Gigi just dropped me up at home real fast and split, because she's expecting the cops to show up any moment. I know they won't, because I've absconded from many hospitals. You don't have to stick around. You can just leave, and they don't really do much. Some of the cops wouldn't show up, and even if they did, it didn't matter, because it's not worth them kicking in my door for. So I just locked the door, closed the blinds, went upstairs, and my plan was to do all the drugs I had upstairs and to end my life, because I've been living without hope for 2 years. And you can survive without hope, but it's not worth it, really. I've been completely without hope for a long time, and for talking to the doctor, I was thoroughly without hope. Because there's nothing new on the horizon as far as treatment goes, and it's never going to get any better. I'm never going to have a moment in the rest of my life where I'm going to be pain-free, ever. And this is agonizing, so it gets old real fast. So my plan was to, as I went through my plan, I went upstairs to my room, put my laptop on, headphones, so I wouldn't hear anybody pounding on the door. I had about a gram and a half of heroin, about a gram of speed with me. I mixed up half of that, pulled it together in a spoon. It was easy to break. Put that in, stuck that into the pick line, shoved it in, did the other half, shoved it in, washed the cottons, shoved it in, and was 30 seconds away from swallowing all the, and had probably about 40 or 50 fentanyl, little blues, fentanyl tabs, and 5 or 6 Xanax, like 5 milligram Xanaxes. My hand and a bottle of whiskey in my right hand, and I was listening to music and just, I mean, maybe 30 seconds away from doing it when there's been this video that kept popping up on my feed, and it was strange because it said Ren, high Ren, and there's no grammar sense to that. I'm like, Ren, high Ren makes no sense whatsoever. And I also noticed that it wasn't just one video, it was seeing a bunch of videos with that same thumbnail popping up all over the place. And I had no idea what reaction videos were at the time, so I didn't understand that there were people reacting to the video high Ren. But the curiosity got to me, and right before I ended my life, I clicked play on the video. It's a 9-minute video, like 9 minutes 20 seconds. It's absolutely incredible. It got to the end, and I hit play again, and play again. And by this point, I'm bawling. I was crying. And I mean, I was calm and ready to go when I sat down. I'd had enough. I was done. I was completely done. The inability to sleep, inability to do anything, the having to be on, I mean, doing all the worst drugs in the world because that's how I can make it through the day. The only way to make it through the day. My kids, I raised them successfully, and they moved out and gone to college. So I'm still in the same apartment. I'm depressed. The apartment's haunted from when it was actually active and had people in it, and it was fun. And it's just this haunted, empty place where I'm sitting there with pain alone, night after night, wishing I could sleep, wishing I could do anything. So yeah, I was done. But that video, I watched it, and you've never seen it, you go watch it. It's Ren, hi Ren. It's an incredible video. It's a performance that it's unmatched. I mean, there's lines in it like oh my God, I didn't explain the lines. So just watch it. But not only that, but it saved my life. I mean, it's out of this kid I never heard of who's super talented, made a video that somehow caught me on the way into the abyss, falling down, and grabbed me and stuck me on the wall of the abyss. It didn't get me out of the abyss, don't get me wrong, it didn't get me out of there, but it did stick me to the wall and like, allow me to either climb or climb down on my own. And when you get to the comments, you'll see he's got 90,000 comments on that one video alone. And at least 10,000 of them are people saying, thank you, you saved my life for this. You caught me right at the moment I was about to die. I mean, it's the same story I have. 10,000 people experiencing that. From one video. I mean, it's like, I don't know if he's a prophet or if he's a messiah, but I know he's somewhere in that category. He has to be, because he's also he's got Lyme disease. He's got a US biological weapon in him that's killing him. And the symptoms are very similar to what I have. It's amazing that he's, with all that, I mean, he's crushed by illness and weaponized illness, and he's still able to make something that incredible. The words, this words from the song quotes, "Coward the man I become as I sing with it from the top of my lungs. I won't retire. I'll stand in your fire and teach the meek to be strong." And I go by many names also. Some people know me as Hope. Some people know me as the voice that they hear when they loosen the noose on the rope. That's exactly where he found me. He was the voice that loosened the noose. And this community of people that are just, I mean, he's saving tons of lives. And like, this isn't some Hollywood happy ending. This isn't something where I'm like, oh, now I'm fixed and I'm better and I'm sober and all these things. No, none of those things are. I'm in more pain now than I was that night. I'm like good fentanyl, but that's only because my electrolysis was going in for a 9th booster jab. And I was trying to argue with her not to do that because of the Russian roulette she was playing. She stopped and went, look, you want me to not get the jab? Quit fentanyl. And I went, deal. And I sort of at the moment I quit it. So I haven't done fentanyl since then, but that's the only reason I quit that. It's nothing to do with the change in life. The change in life was the fact that the song made me realize that I wasn't alone. Yeah, life sucks for most everybody. And chronic pain is horrible. But I have responsibilities. I have things I have to do, like be around for my kids, try to make this a better world. Hopefully my kids have grandkids. I can help raise them. These are things I'm supposed to be here for. So I have to continue on. I'm selling heroin. I'm selling meth because I have to do one to keep away the pain, the other one to keep myself moving. Between the one, I'm still in massive pain. The world's still just as bad as it is, but knowing that seeing what he could do, the example of what he could, how he could live, what he could do, making this incredible music and touching so many lives, while also crushed by organized illness. I'm like, okay, then give me the strength. Give me the strength to keep going. So I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here the next day. I'm no longer at that hopeless point. I have hope. I don't know what to hope for, but I have hope. Maybe I can do something important. So yeah. So with the time I have left, the time I have now, I'm trying to do things that I really want to do. Like I'm translating the Bible into rhyming patterns. It's for whoever wants to actually read the book from front to back, like reading a book of the Bible, getting through it. So I'm doing that. I'm writing music, not comparable to Ren's now, but I've written like 30 songs the last couple of years, recorded them. I'm doing all the guitar, bass, singing, drums, which I had a band, but I don't, so I'm just doing it myself. And I'm working on my Substack, which is my way of trying to explain to the world that we're not. It's not the way things are not what they seem. Our government is not two warring parties. It's not, blue versus red, two warring parties with one ruling party, one opposition party. It's not left versus right. It's not red versus blue. It's one party. It's neither party. Like our politicians watched in the 80s and 90s of wrestling. It's WWE professional wrestling, as they went from having heroes and bad guys to basically just having bad guys. Like they saw how people got committed to their favorite wrestler. If the wrestler could do no wrong, the other wrestler was cheating, and it got them pumped up and excited. They were mad and angry, and all these emotions that we have now for our elections. Everybody's cheating. Freaking the election machines, the voting machines, all have network cards in them. Even though it's illegal, they can't have network cards in them, but they all have network cards in them. They can all access the internet. They can all be completely easily hacked and audited. We know this. The Dominion voting machines are a joke. I had the GEMS election management software on my computer. Right? You just open it up in Microsoft Access, and you can audit anything and erase your trail, your log trail, completely out of there. Absolutely change elections. So our elections are completely rigged, but there are politicians realize that they could keep power, they could work together, and they make themselves rich by just adopting that WWE style of the wrestlers hate each other, The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin or whatever. But they're all bad guys. We forgive our heroes completely for cheating, and just look at the other guy for cheating. Like, look at this thing in Minneapolis right now. Pretty. That was an execution. It's a fucking execution, like every execution you've ever seen. He was disarmed on his knees, bent over, and you shot him 9 times in the back or 10 times in the back. That's an execution where he wasted bullets. I mean, that's an execution. Then again, what was that guy out there doing protesting that? Like the way Trump's doing the way he's running ICE is just bringing in idiots without any training, giving them guns and throwing them out the streets in the middle of the day. Obama didn't do it that way. Obama did his immigration detentions at night, right? Smashing down doors and grabbing whole families. And in 2013, I was actually put into an ICE processing center. I spent 2 weeks there. It's a death camp. Literally, everybody who was in there, none of them were actually hardened criminals. The place is totally overcrowded, but none of them were actually hardened criminals. They're all just people that had overstayed their visas. They tried to appeal, they tried to stay. They failed on their appeal, they failed on their attempt to become citizens, and they were just on route to be deported, but they weren't being deported right away. Because while I was there for 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks it cycles through everybody in the place. Every night they pull people out of their bunks, they take them to a hallway near the place where you come into the Otero prison complex, and they line them all up, 100 people at a time. And at the end of the hallway is bricks, and at the other end of the hallway is just some guy with an X-ray machine just zapping that button as fast as he possibly can hit it. While guards with shock shields stand there and blast anybody that complains. And they say it's for tuberculosis tests, but no, they're just in there killing people with X-rays. And then once they're sick enough, they push them out across the fence into the other side of it. Because Otero's right, it's right by Alamogordo, it's right by the border. They just take them over the border, drop them off, and those people die in a ditch and probably get chalked up as like cartel murders or something. But that's the company that runs the ICE processing center is then at the time, and I'm sure it still is Management Training Corporation. They also ran Abu Ghraib. It's all the same people. When you keep monsters on your payroll, you have to feed them. So that's what they do. There's at least 50 ICE processing stations, and they're all run the same way. I've talked to people that run other ones, and they run the same way. They're all getting killed. It's a death camp. They're just X-ray poisoning everybody and sticking them over the borders. So that was under Obama's watch when I was there. So Obama deported way more people than Trump did. But we didn't hear about it because the news didn't talk about it, and because they were doing the raids at night instead of the day. So it's just this chaos to make you hate your neighbor. And that's the point of my Substack, is that it's not your neighbor, it's the government. The people at ICE, the people that are dressed up as, cosplaying fucking militiamen, that's the government. The the judges that are telling Trump he can't do it, that's the government. The Christy Noem, she's the government. Trump's the government. Biden is the government. Obama's the government. It's all the government. It's just that's our enemy. It's the government. It's not your neighbor. Don't hate your neighbor, because you and your neighbor, if you go and talk to them, probably want the same thing. Do you want to be able to live safe, not be a totalitarian fascist country? You want your children to be safe. You want them to get a good education. You want healthcare. You want to be able to make a decent living where you can afford things. That's what everybody wants. Your neighbor thinks that one party, he's fooled into thinking that one party will give him that. You're fooled into thinking the other party will give you that. Neither one of these parties are going to give you anything that you want. That's just the way it goes. In modern day America. Explain to people that that's the reality of the situation. We're all in this together, and it's us against them. It's not us against each other. Don't hate your neighbors. Everything's bullshit. 9/11 was an inside job so they could do the war on terror and have an infinite war, which we're still fighting. Trump was never going to get us out of wars. He never did. He's just a figurehead. He's a WWE villain heel. He's in their Hall of Fame. So of course he fits in perfectly with the way the politics work. But everything on the news is bullshit. They've taken the internet, shrink the world down, decided so we could all see all of it. We could see the community, we could meet people anywhere and do anything. But then their screens shrank us to scale, so it limited our vision and limited our ability to see what's going on. And unless you walk outside and talk to people, you're not going to know. You're not going to see. You're just going to be fed fear constantly. That's it. You want to have a better world, go outside, talk to your neighbors. Go talk to the person with the Trump sign. Go talk to the person with the Biden sign, the Harris sign, or whatever. Go talk to them. You find out that they want the same things as you. Nobody wants to go leave, but we're just forgiving our fucking heroes because we believe them and we believe they're working for our best interests, and they're not. They're not working for our best interests at all. Government wants you isolated, scared, terrified, not talking to anybody, hating your neighbors, wanting to go to war with them. That way we don't have any progress or change because we're fighting each other. That's all they want. And COVID was the best example of that. They got us hiding in our houses, cloistered, isolated, afraid to talk to anybody. There's some invisible thing that's going around with fake science, fake testing, fake fucking everything. And everything we did was making things worse, making people sicker. And I'm not saying COVID was an illness. No, I'm saying bacterial infections. COVID, the virus, there's never isolated, never proved it exists, never anything. This is all provable. Go to blastedreality.substack.com and you'll see the proof. That everything you've been told through your TV set, through your computer screen is a lie. Your neighbors are a lot more like you than anybody else that you see on the TV screen. And the crazy people on the screen, they're bitching and talking about, how they want to kill these people and want to do this and want to own the libs and all that stuff. They're just actors. They're just paid to stir up anger, just like The Rock, just like Stone Cold, just like mankind. That's all they're doing. So get up off your ass, go outside and talk to some people. People keep saying that the only thing we can do is to support our communities and try and build up our own currencies and all this stuff, but that'll never work. Like the separating from the government, well, on government land will never work because they'll just roll over you like Waco. We need to actually fix the government. We need to replace the government with something that works, something that adheres to the Constitution, something that follows the rule of law, which we don't have. You're not safe. You can be executed any time, and they'll make you into the exact same type of hero that Goody is. They'll come for you eventually. They aren't already. Doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what education level you have, doesn't matter how much money you have, unless you're one of the truly rich ones. Peter Thiel, those guys. That's why all the software supports them. The tech bros all work together. Our government is run by some shadowy fucking elite group that wants some crazy global slave fucking system with 500 million people and no more. Kill us all off. They'll do everything they can. They're doing it soon. So please go outside, talk to your neighbors, support them, help them. They'll help you. We're all Americans. We've just been fooled into thinking that other Americans are different. We're not. We all want the same things. It's pretty simple. Get safe, earn a living, work hard, benefit from it, and not go bankrupt and die once you get sick. Not be killed as cash crop. That's it. Nice day.